when you put in a bicycle lane, the bicycle lane will increase your safety. It'll reduce bicycle crashes in half. Just putting this piece of white paint down the street reduces bike crashes in half. It does it a number of different ways. We don't know for sure how it operates, but number one, it optimizes the traffic flow, so the cars aren't weaving around back and forth. They're kind of lined up, place for the bikes, place for the cars. It gets bikes riding in the right direction on the side of the road. When the bicycle is riding against traffic, someone pulling out of a side street doesn't look that way. They don't look to the left to see who's coming. They don't look for a bike coming from the other direction. So it increases safety that way, reduces crashes. The main way it reduces crashes is it gets the bicyclists off the sidewalks. A bicycle on a sidewalk is 5 times more likely to be hit than a bicycle in the street. Well, that's kind of counterintuitive. You know, on the sidewalk, I'm safe, you know, they're going to hit me. Every sidewalk crosses a driveway, it crosses an alley, it crosses a street. Every time it crosses a facility, a cross street of some sort. Again, the people pulling out, they'll see the pedestrians within their cone of vision. They don't look down the sidewalk to see if somebody's coming. That's how they get hit. That's where most of your crashes occur. Only 10% of your bicycle fatalities are from bikes being hit from behind on a roadway. The major way they get hit is either intersections or doing dumb things, like at the last minute swerving out into traffic or something like that. But a bicycle going along the roadway, 8 to 10% is the way they get hit. Almost all of the other hits are at intersection type facilities. And speeds, the same thing. A high-speed roadway, if I'm mixing with the traffic, does not feel comfortable. If I'm putting in a shared lane marking where you're marked out with the traffic, in fact, the MUTCD, the Uniform Traffic Control Devices Manual, talks about you don't put those in unless it's 35 miles an hour or under. So a higher speed roadway is a problem, but not if you have a bike lane or on a shoulder. If you're on a shoulder, I've ridden on roadways with 70-mile-per-hour traffic and an 8-foot shoulder. Feel perfectly comfortable.
Comfortable or safe?
Comfortable. Well, when the big truck goes by me, it's a little nerve-wracking, but
helps pull you.
yeah, you can draft a little bit. Yeah, draft the truck. So it depends on the width. If I have a 4-foot shoulder on a 60-mile-per-hour roadway, then I don't feel as safe. But 6 foot, you know, the wider the higher the speed, the wider the shoulder. The speed itself is not necessarily a problem unless you're actually mixing with the cars, and then it becomes a potential problem to do it. Bicyclist needs at least 4 feet. Because there's handlebar width, there's the wobble that you'll get on sometimes, particularly going uphill. So you need at least 4 feet. So what we do is we will design with 4 foot for the bicyclist, but if there's a curb, you need a foot offset. If there's a parked car, you need a foot offset. You need offsets from that basic 4 foot. So that's the basic design. We're going to talk about designing shoulders, bike lanes, across the roadway cross section, how you get it, surface and signage. Shoulders really work well for bicycles, a paved shoulder. Cross country is just, they're ideal. Shoulders are good for the maintenance of the roadway. MDOT is putting shoulders, paved shoulders, on all their roads as they rebuild them, minimum 4 foot, and usually are often 6 feet or sometimes even 8 feet, because it extends the life of the pavement of the road. It has nothing to do with bikes. Well, the going to 6 feet or 8 feet might, but the 4 foot is there just to maintain the roadway itself. The roadway will last longer if it has a paved shoulder next to it. So that's something your roadway commission needs to know as well. So on your county roads, it's the same principle there. Your roadway is going to last longer if it has a paved shoulder. And by the way, you've got a place for bikes. You're going to hear me say that a lot. There's a lot of stuff that you do for traffic reasons or for roadway reasons, or for safety reasons. Oh, and by the way, it's a place for bikes. It's like win-wins. Look for those all the time.
both those streets. It's pretty wide. A lot of traffic on Oak, you said. I felt pretty comfortable on both streets, but I think even if everybody is comfortable biking on those streets, some cases you want to put markings down or signs even to mark a route to also encourage people to ride in the street. And it kind of sounds like that's where your community is, that you have some decent streets that are perfectly safe to bike on, some of these local streets, but people still aren't comfortable biking there. So the markings will help with that too, to encourage people to bike. Because somebody said to me as we were riding up that he wouldn't use this street if it's class dismissal time.
Yeah, there's no way. And because some of the cars could see, but like the cars that are behind the the larger vehicles, they'll never see anybody coming.
Yeah.
If they're back in, and this is because it's a campus, you can get away with doing stuff that you might not with the merchants. I mean, you're in charge. They're the students. You tell the students this is what we're going to do.
And this is a great place to show people it can work because there's not a lot of traffic on campus. So it's a great place for people to start getting used to the back and angle parking.
There's no light poles at the curb, so there's the curb overhang is not a problem. It would work in so many ways. So that's something to do. You'd still want to publicize it. Get in the school newspaper, make a big deal out about it that you're doing it. But you probably want to do it over the summer, so when they come in the fall, it's a fait accompli, rather than do it in the middle of a class period.
Some things that we can do here in Big Rapids to make the city a little more bicycle friendly.
Probably just make better use of the roadways that you've got. There's a lot of room on a number of the roadways to put bicycle facilities. Maple, Michigan, and some of the other, the smaller roads, Oak and others, have really good capability of carrying bikes on street where they're safer and connecting the whole town. So that it's not just a path over here and a bike lane over there, but it all hangs together.
Okay. And I think it was mentioned earlier while we were out on the tour, start with small projects, grab the low-hanging fruit before, taking on major projects like altering State Street or Perry Avenue.
Yeah, you want to do stuff to begin with that is like just pavement markings and signage on streets that have relatively low volume or low enough volume that you can do that without causing a problem. When you resurface a street, that's maybe a good time to redo the pavement markings because then it doesn't cost anything. You have to put the pavement markings back anyway. So maybe use that as part of your decision when to make a street available for bikes or accommodate bikes on the street. And then save the bigger connections like a new trail bridge or something like that for later, but get the easy stuff done first.
Okay. And as Big Rapids is right now, how bicycle friendly is the city currently?
It varies as you go from part to part. Riding around campus is pretty easy, and along the trail is nice, but then there's places where it doesn't exist at all. It becomes very unfriendly. So overall, I guess I'd give it a rating of C, but you've got some A's and you've got some failings. And so the idea is to get it all fit together.